We have C2 or C squared in Einstein's famous equation because light will radiate out in all directions forming a sphere, and at any moment in time we have to square the radius to get the surface area. This process also represents the formation of three-dimensional space with the movement of positive and negative charge. The inner concave surface represents negative charge, and the outer convex surface represents positive charge. This is a universal and continuous process. If our eyes were more sensitive to the light or the electromagnetic spectrum, we would be able to see that everything is continuously radiating light, like the inside of an electric light bulb. At the smallest scale of this process, we have matter-antimatter annihilation, with perfect symmetry between matter and antimatter, and between positive and negative charge. The future is always based 100% on the past, with 100% antimatter annihilation, with the future unfolding photon by photon, with the movement of positive and negative charge. Therefore we have time symmetry at each moment in time, or at each photon-electron coupling or dipole moment. The universe is a continuum, with antimatter annihilation representing the past, with each photon oscillation only occurring once, forming a unique and uncertain future. When objects in our everyday life touch and interact, it is electrical charge that comes in contact. Every movement we take and every thought we make, there is an exchange of photon energy with the movement of charge. This process can also give us an objective or logical reason for wave-particle duality, with the future unfolding relative to the energy and momentum of our own actions. In such a theory, the wave-particle duality of light and matter in the form of electrons is forming a blank canvas that we can interact with, forming the possible into the actual. In this way, this process is forming the uncertainty of everyday life in just three-dimensional space, with one variable in the form of time. At the smallest scale of this process, this geometry can be seen mathematically, with 4π representing a sphere, in the equation known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, representing the same uncertainty we have with any future event. This geometrical process can be represented by just one equation, with the Lorentz contraction of space and time placed between the energy and mass of Einstein's famous equation. This represents the time dilation of Einstein's theory of relativity. We have energy slowing up the rate that time flows as a universal process of energy exchange or continuous creation, with mass always being relative to the energy. The brackets in the equation represent a dynamic boundary condition of an individual reference frame, with an arrow of time or timeline for each frame of reference. The infinity symbol represents an infinite number of dynamic, interactive reference frames that make up our universe, that are continuously coming in and out of existence. This theory is logical when you think that the electromagnetic force is responsible for all the properties of the chemical elements that we have in the periodic table, including all chemical bonding. The most prominent part of this process is formed by photon energy cascading down from the sun, forming greater degrees of freedom for entropy or disorganization, and also greater degrees of freedom for the complexity and diversity of cell life. This can be seen with the build-up and organization of positive and negative charge being relative to the membrane of each living cell. Also, if the process we see and feel as the passage or flow of time is formed by an interactive process relative to the electron probability cloud that surrounds the nucleus of an atom, it would be logical that there is no concept or flow of time in the subatomic world within the atoms that is governed by the strong nuclear force. At higher temperature, we have a phase change of matter, with the process unfolding on a much larger scale in the form of plasma, with charge being able to cover a large area of interstellar space. This spherical geometry can even be seen in these images from the International Space Station, with a candle flame in zero gravity naturally forming a sphere that is interacting with the environment on the two-dimensional surface of the sphere. This dynamic space-time geometry can even give us a logical understanding of quantum entanglement. As the future unfolds with photon oscillations, we have symmetry or synchronization, with polarization or spin being the same for the whole surface of the light sphere, therefore having opposite spin on opposite sides of the light sphere at the same moment in time. In our everyday life, fire would take on the same spherical symmetry if the symmetry was not broken by this universal process of energy exchange that forms the potential for the ever-changing world of our everyday life, forming what we see and feel as the passage or continuum of time. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe. It will help the promotion of this theory.